Packers fans can take a trip back to the glory years just by heading to the Paper Valley Hotel in Appleton. It's one of the locations for the events in this year's Fox Cities Book Festival. And tonight you can meet author John Eisenberg. He wrote that first season how Vince Lombardi took the worst team in the NFL and set it on the path to glory. And John joins me now with more on the book. Thanks for joining us, John.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Tell us the first time you knew you had the book. I mean, what was the first thing you noticed and you said, wow, there's something to be said, something to be told here?
Well, just when I was considering writing it, I just looked at the roster of the 1958 Packers, the year before Lombardi got there, when they won one game out of 12. On that roster was Bart Starr, Jim Taylor, Paul Hornung, Ray Nitschke, Jim Ringo, I believe 7 future Hall of Famers on a team that won one game. They lost 56-0 to the Baltimore Colts. And I thought, wow, something happened that within 2 years they were in the championship game with Lombardi. And of course they all went on to become famous players. But if they were so bad before Lombardi got here, there had to have been, everybody knows all the great stuff that Lombardi did, but there was a turnaround story at the beginning of his tenure that I think was, maybe hardcore Packer fans know, but maybe had gotten lost into history a little bit.
And you go into the hiring process and what the committee did, and they knew that they needed somebody who could turn it around rather quickly. Tell us a little bit about Vince Lombardi. I mean, here's a guy who was in his mid-40s, thought he was kind of passed over for a while. Did he really have to come to Green Bay, you think, to be successful and to be an icon?
Well, he could have been successful as the coach of the New York Giants, I think, which, the people in New York, whenever I do an interview in New York, that's the whole angle is, oh my gosh, how did we let him go? He turned down the Philadelphia Eagles before he came here, and he was not the Packers' first choice. They wanted to hire Forrest Evashevski, who was the coach at Iowa, was a bigger name then. I think he would have been successful anywhere. He did walk into a situation here where he had some talent on the team that was undiscovered, and he did have, with the executive committee, sort of was stepping back and gave him full reign of the team as coach and general manager. So it was an ideal situation in a lot of ways.
So you had those future Hall of Famers in the locker room, and I've heard a lot of stories about that. The first time that they met Vince Lombardi, particularly Bart Starr, he called his wife and said, we're going to start winning. Was it that immediate?
It was that immediate. That's when another moment when I knew I had a book, when I went around asking these guys, do you remember your first meeting with Lombardi? And they would always just start laughing. I mean, there was always some story there. Gary Knaffel met him at a minor league hockey game, a Bobcats hockey game, and within 12 hours he was in his office being told he was changing positions or he was going to be shipped out of town. He was like, whoa, what is going on here? So it was immediate that here was a guy, they went from lack of discipline to total discipline, from lack of organization to total organization, and they all were aware of it immediately.
Yeah. That first season, John, thank you very much for joining us, and you'll be at the book festival today?
4:30 this afternoon. I'm at the Radisson in Appleton, speaking in the orchard there in the main area of the hotel.
Very good. And you can get more information at fox11online.com and click on Good Day Wisconsin. John, thanks a lot.
Great, my pleasure. Thank you.
We'll be right back. You're watching Good Day Wisconsin.